Good morning. Good morning, everybody. It's me, Mitch. Welcome. Welcome to Morning Coffee with Mitch on Tuesday, the 10th. Wow, time flies. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. Drink it if you got it. And I'm going to start this show off by excusing myself for 2 minutes. I think I left the water running of all the dumb things, so I'll wait for people to chime in. I'll give you my be right back. I'll play some music for you, and I will be back in 2 minutes. I'm back. Sorry about that. And let me climb into my headphones. All right. Has everybody got... Yes, people showed up. Maybe I should do that every morning. Never fails, guys. Never fails. But, I tried for professional show business, and something seems to always... I didn't leave the water running, yet I had to jiggle the stupid toilet handle. Time to replace those flappers again. And the thought of having that thing run wide open for an hour and a half, especially at what they charge us for water here, would have cost me probably $20 for the water. So appreciate your indulgence. Good morning, everybody. How are you? Let me settle down here. Have another sip or two of coffee. I've been watching the chat this morning. It's getting funny with this ranking stuff. It's all over the place. And one thing I saw was Thomas was lamenting that Peter was number one. And the next post he put up, it said he was number one. So I don't know. I guess we all enjoy a little friendly competition. I see Peter is back at number one again. Wow, wow, wow. Peter, whatever you do, my friend, you're prolific poster. You're probably going to find yourself in the number one position. And it's okay. That's okay. I have a way. You may not notice this, and I don't know what you have on your chat, but if I come over here and click Peter, I get all of these choices that I can do to Peter or for Peter. Channel activity, go to Peter's channel, pin the message, report Peter, remove Peter, put Peter in a timeout, hide him completely, or make him a moderator. Well, this first one says this is true for everybody, channel activity. And if I click that, I see all of Peter's chats, not only in this chat here, this is what Peter has done today so far, but I can go back to, for example, Sunday's chat where Rick was the guest. You remember Rick? Yeah. And expand this out, and we can see that on Sunday, Peter was a pretty prolific poster, unless some of you now are saying, wow, I'm laughing at Peter. Thomas is also a prolific poster. Now, the more posts, the more engagement YouTube thinks I have. So, in essence, it's a good thing for me, and I'm not trying to discourage it. As long as we keep it safe, don't give medical advice, and it's fine. That's fine. I finally come to that conclusion. But this ranking things, I don't know. Jury's still out on that. But and if I go and look, I have a way to look at the history, and YouTube is assigning experience points, whatever that means. And in that ranking, Peter's at the top of the list. But I'm glad you're here, Peter. I'm glad you're here. At any rate, let me go over to the chat. YouTube did not cut me off at the knees last night. I posted the live stream fairly early. Charger Mopar first at the Duck Pound. All right, Rick, I'm afraid the duck sound effects are here to stay. Now, I tried a new style this morning of showing you people's chats. This one is a little bigger than I normally use, and I can show you what the different ones look like here. I have, this is called a bubble. This one is a classic. This one is minimal. And this one is called block. I've been using minimal, and the reason is it covers up less of my pretty face. The classic one covers up more of me, but I think it might not be a bad thing because I have a tendency to not notice them. And maybe when it's plastered over my chin, I will notice them and do away with it. Or the bubble one, I don't know. I'm going to use these for a while. If you if you have any preferences, you can let me know. But it's not a big point, not a major point. I see down here in the chat, Peter says, I'm trying very hard not to answer any questions directed to me with or without a QQQ, and to not give medical advice. I know you are, Peter, and I appreciate it. I've noticed it, and thank you for that. Thank you. That was the only problem I had. I don't have a problem with you. I love you. You're a great guy. I enjoyed the time when we were at a meetup or something. So I tried very hard not to be mean about all that stuff. But yeah, you've been great. And I do appreciate the activity. I appreciate all the activity. It's good. It's good for this. It's good for the channel. And speaking of good for the channel, let me get rid of that. Get rid of that banner. And you know what's coming, guys. Tuesday, just so you know, just so you know, because it's time for that shameless plug. Buy me a coffee. Buy me a coffee, unlike YouTube, doesn't take a big percentage of what I get. That's why a lot of guys use it. Most of us rely on support from our users to make this even remotely worthwhile. I've shown you what my YouTube ad revenues are. They're terrible. I'm not that big a channel. I don't get hundreds of thousands of views. They pay. Buy me a coffee pays us on Wednesday for the week that ends on Tuesday, and they pay us once a week. If you buy me a coffee today, I will actually have that money tomorrow in my bank account. It's terrific. If you buy me a coffee tomorrow, it'll be a week later. But the reason you see so much of that is that it's a very low commission way for users to show support for people and actually have us not have to wait 60 to 90 days, as happens with a super chat or something like that from YouTube, no more than a week, and sometimes even tomorrow. So Tuesday's a big day for me, because whatever comes in, whatever you guys do for me today, I see tomorrow. So if you want to buy me a coffee once a month, that would be great. But a Tuesday would probably be the best day to do it. That was a really shameless plug, guys, but I want you to know how it works. All right, let's get to it. I've been up a long time this morning. Been very active this morning. Wore myself out already. Tuesday only it says 73 people. Wow. That's it usually gets, as we go on, more and more people come in. But as usual, I think the more I do something, the more people get tired of it. I end up with a smaller group of very enthusiastic guys, and you're the ones that I care about the most anyway. So Rick was here first at the duck pond, had a heart attack, turkey for lunch. Cliff Medina was here. This is all yesterday afternoon. Lady June, No Slow, Gary, how you doing, my friend? Terry Sue, crap, number 5. She says, Smoothie says, see you in the morning. Mike Sealy at 8 o'clock last night was here. Mary M was here. Patty's Garden, how you doing? Last night at the middle of the night. Lady June, early morning in the United Kingdom. Good to see you. Jemmet, good morning, Mitch and Mitch. It's 2 a.m. West Coast at a power outage. Wow, trying to sleep, but it's 95, no AC or fan because of yeah. If that happens to you, and you're like me and you can't sleep, when it's too silent, it's too quiet. Because I either have a noise machine, I use Google, I have a fan that I can run when all else fails. But if the power fails and you have a cell phone and it's somewhat charged up, you can play either through Amazon or Google. Just go, hey, you know who, say the magic word and say, play white noise. And white noise will play on your phone, which is okay. It still has power in a power failure. I have done that. Sometimes I'll have a power failure in the middle of the night. I'll wake up. It's quiet. I don't realize it first off, but I can't get back to sleep. I use my cell phone for that. You may have to turn the volume down a little bit, but it works. So there's a tip from your Uncle Mitch. Wayne Herman was here at 5:51. Peter chimed in. Good morning, Mitch Fitz. How you doing, Peter? And then you jinxed yourself by saying, I haven't gotten ranked for a week. Be careful what you wish for, my friend. Mike Seeley Sr. is here. Marcy, me, good morning from Texas. Richard Williams, about 8 o'clock. Good morning from Copper Hill, Tennessee. Francine Bourgeois from Montreal, and it's raining. Hiya, Francine. How are you? Grace Lilly, another Canadian. Hello from southwestern Ontario. Good morning to you. And then Target Thomas. Just after Peter says he hasn't been ranked for a while. Thomas says, you're number one. That's great. Smoothie is back. Good morning from the tippy top of Indiana. And Tanya's here. Hiya, Tanya. How are you, sweetie? T-Bone Tuesday with Mitch and all the Mitch Fitz. Claudia Burkick is here. Sneaking up on 8:30. Aaron, Booby Goats. Good to see you as usual. And Thomas is here. And let's see, we're at 8:28. Harry Dion, how are you? Charles Faircloth. Good morning, everyone. Hi, Charles. How are you? 8:29, Lizzie, and 8:29, Kitchen Witch, and Claudia, and Retired Rick. How you doing? And wow. Guess who's the winner again? It is. Retired Rick once again. 8:30's got it. Man's got it down to a science. And I see Tuka is here with us. Hiya, Tuka. I haven't seen you in a little while. You've been a busy guy. Touramir Carnivore, little super chat. Thank you so much. Over in Finland in the afternoon. I hope you're doing well. Let us know. Good to see you. Retired Rick 1, followed by Lady, June, and Smoothie, and Tanya, and Sandy. Hiya, Sandy. How are you? Mary M. said, good morning, Peter. Good morning, Quackers. Of course, that requires. I have this duck sound. Whoops, I still have something playing. You get rid of that. I have this duck sound. It sounds like ducks laughing. Maybe that would be appropriate. Tell me if you don't think this sounds like ducks laughing. Sounds to me like the ducks are laughing at us. They're getting all this attention from this crowd. It makes me laugh anyway. Media Tunes, good morning all. Isn't life great? When something so silly as duck sound effects can actually make you laugh. Because when you laugh, it's very hard. It's impossible to be stressed, upset, and angry. Comedy is one of the greatest tranquilizers that ever lived. It's tough to be mean when you're laughing. That's why they say laughter is the best medicine, and that You know, a lot of these old adages have a lot of wisdom in them. I really want to thank Rick for Sunday. We had a ball. I laughed my way through the entire live stream. All of you that were there, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it. Yes, sir. An homage to Rick. And still at 8:30, Patty, Jake, Booby Goats, Aaron, Marla, Kelly, good morning. All she says. The Peach Baron said, hi. Still 8:30, Lat checked in. And look at this, Marie McM. First time catching you live. Marie, welcome. Good to see you. Good to see you. And another thing about me having these things a little larger is your emoji, your avatars show up bigger. We get to see what you look like if you've been brave enough to put your face in your avatar. Lewis is here. Lewis L. from New York. Rainy day. How you doing, Lewis? Good to see you. And that concludes day 30s. Who else? Jerry Graham is here. Who did I say hi to? Peter's here. Oh, crap. I'm number one. Waiting for Mitch to say something. Well, we know each other very well, Peter. Don't you think? And Melissa B chimed in. How you doing, Melissa? Put some QQQs in the chat if you want me to answer a question or comment or bring a particular subject matter into the current discussion. I got to keep up with the chat in these things. Some people find that boring. I've been told in comments. I've been told that some people say, well, it gets real boring when you just say hi to everybody, but so many of you are here, and I'm here for the camaraderie and the community of it all. This is not a news show. And you know me, if I get onto a topic, something that either interests me, and especially something that frustrates or aggravates me, I can use up all the time and fall further and further behind in the chat and miss the questions. I only have guests on Sunday when somebody wants to come on. I don't do like what Kelsey did. And he used to, if you remember, his 5 a.m. live stream for the longest time was basically just him standing there interacting with his community. No guests. It was before Ollie came on board with him. It was before Nelson came on board. It was just him. My live streams are more like that. But I think he thought that by bringing guests in every day, that would create more interest because people might have been getting tired. I don't want to have guests every day and have to go through administering all that. This is about having you all over for coffee. Some days more of you come than others, but the brunt of my best friends are usually here every day. I'm doing it 4 days a week now. In a short time, I'll probably add the 5th day because I just like it. I enjoy it. It energizes me. It gets my day started instead of just sitting around. Where are my? Okay. Anybody I haven't said hi to yet? Evidently, I missed Spanky, but Peter caught it. Hiya, Spanky. How you doing? Spanky is golf addict from up there in Canada. Sandy knows Spanky too. Lewis, and don't forget, tomorrow is my birthday. Happy birthday. God, I need to get a birthday song on my mixer. Got the duck sounds. Got the duck sounds. but I can give you a little round of applause. Let's everybody wish Louis a happy birthday tomorrow. Now, I'll be here tomorrow. Tuesday and Wednesday, I do live streams on both days. So remind me again tomorrow. And I will try to remember, Louis, just for you, I will try to remember to program a happy birthday song, maybe a stupid, funny one, but happy birthday nonetheless, into my mixer so I have a push button and we can do it properly tomorrow. Lindsay, good morning. Lizzie, how you doing, sweetie? Good to see you. I assume when you put a picture of a woman up there that Lindsay is a woman and I call you sweetie, I probably in the past I've called some guys sweetie by mistake because I didn't really know if they were men or women. Where's the beef? It's a great handle for a carnivore. Honest to God, great handle for the carnivore. We all remember Emma Peller. Emma Peller, remember her? God, she was reminded me of my great-grandmother. Where's the beef? That was one of the most effective commercials. I think it was Wendy's of all time. We don't have those kinds of commercials anymore. Why? Because all our commercials these days are for doctors and hospitals and sicknesses and pills and slip and fall lawyers. There's nothing you can't be funny about that or cute. So we don't have those classic commercials. Plop, plop, fizz, fizz. Oh, what a relief it is. Alka-Seltzer. Where's the beef? I can't believe I ate the whole thing. There were some great commercials, timeless things. Any of us that are old enough can never forget those things. Oscar Mayer Wiener commercials, the jingle. No more. No more. Can somebody recite for me the Advent Health jingle? No. No way. Kitchen was the riblets at Mitch in the live yesterday. It was the real Mitch. Yes, I stopped by and said hi to Thomas. I subscribed to Thomas's channel, and just because I subscribe doesn't mean that it shows up in my feed. But when I subscribed to Thomas's channel, I watched quite a few of his videos in the past week or two just to get a feel for what his YouTube channel is like. Because I watched so many of his videos in a short period of time, YouTube decided Thomas was my new favorite thing on YouTube. So YouTube is now feeding me everything Thomas does as soon as right away. So I'm sitting down to relax yesterday. I was outside puffing on a cigar. My go to YouTube, boom, Thomas is live. Okay, so I started watching, and I hit it right at the time where Thomas said, "Oh, if anybody wants to come in and visit me, come on." Okay, so I got my cell phone out, clicked the link, and voila, I was right on my own TV, right there with Thomas. Spent a few minutes there, said hi, enjoyed it. So, and we had, how many, 6 or 8 of the usual suspects were there. So I felt right at home. I knew every one of the people that was watching that. That was a great deal. When I first logged in, it was funny. The reason Tanya said it was the real Mitch was that I logged in, and right away somebody said, "How do we know that's really Mitch and not some troll impersonating his channel?" So I dropped a hint. I said, "It's me, Tanya." And of course, nobody would know Tanya's first name except me. And I did a couple other things like that, and they were convinced it was really me. But that's why Tanya said it was the real Mitch. And that's very flattering, because only big stars have to say the real, like Donald Trump, Elon Musk. Have to use at the real. So because they got so many imposters. Me, got no imposters. Not yet anyway. Don't know if I want that aggravation. You know, there's I'm right at that point where everybody says, wow, that you got a lot of followers, that's a big channel. It's not on YouTube. A big channel is hundreds of thousands, millions of subscribers. And like anything else in the world, some people become stars, and some, like musicians, just play the local lounge circuit, and that's about as big as they get. And that's about where YouTubers of my size fall in. Aaron, you stovetop percolated my coffee today. Wow. I'm surprised you still have a percolator. That made good coffee, but I don't hear many people doing that anymore. Don't hear much about that. All right, I'm going to look for questions. Here I went and put such an impassioned plea for coffee. I don't see any yet. No big deal. No obligation, guys. Please, I really appreciate any generosity, but so many of you are so generous so often. I almost feel guilty sometimes, but I do want to thank people when they do that. And Barry Simon's here. Hiya, Barry. How you doing? Good morning, Mitch, he says. I'm all the way up to 5 minutes. I'm up to 5 minutes into the show already, and that's how slow I get through these things when we first start. And 2 of those first 5 minutes, I was jiggling. I was out there getting my toilet to stop running. I guess from here on out, that's what I do. I mean, I'm human. So when it gets to be 5 or 10 minutes before the stream starts, I go to the bathroom just so I can make it all the way through without having to worry about it. Of course, we all drink a lot of liquid in the morning. I drink not just coffee, but I always have a big glass of my electrolyte mix to start the day, and more water. I like to get hydrated in the morning. It's very good to get hydrated in the morning. And sure enough, give it some time, it finds its way through. And nothing worse than being on the middle of a live stream and having to go. And I've never done that. I have never, in any live stream I've ever done, even the hours, the old drone live streams that were 3-4 hours long, I never excused myself. I'm lucky. I don't have that problem where I have to go every 5 minutes, as most men my age do. But today I had to do it because I went early and I didn't wait. Next time I just have to remember, until I replace the old flappers in my toilet that don't seal right sometimes. I got to wait to make sure it fills up because toilets run wide open. I could have used 200 gallons of water this morning if I had taken 2 minutes out and did that. Melissa B is here. Hi, Melissa. May have said hi to you. Looking for people that I haven't said hi to. Here's something. My terrific life. Good morning. I finally caught alive, and I'm drinking coffee. Win-win. Well, welcome. And I see you have Terri is capitalized. One would assume that your name is Terry with 2 R's. If so, incredibly clever, and welcome. Always love to see new people, and welcome. Good to see you. Loretta Nadow, good morning, darlings. I love that. Have a fabulous day. You too, darling. You too. Always reminds me of Billy Crystal. Darling. Edward Renner's here. How you doing? Brenda McIntyre. Morning, everyone. Don't let your meatloaf always. Good advice and wisdom. And Peter, I'm trying very hard to not. I read that one already. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Peter. Maria McM, yeah, I like the bubble one. You do. That's the one that's a little smaller. I like, since sometimes it's easier for me to read because most of the text on these screens I have is pretty small, and I don't wear my reading glasses. I wear my regular glasses. Some days, and I don't know what caused it. Some days my vision is a little sharper than other days, and today it's very sharp. I'm having no trouble reading anything on the screen. I know overall Carnivore has improved my eyesight. It has reversed some of the deterioration of aging. It has gotten rid of my eye floaters, and I had many of them. I think, and I had a cataract developing on my left eye. I think it has stopped the progression of that and maybe even going backwards. One thing it hasn't cured, I don't think it will, and that is things that need me to have correction. Sometimes I can take my glasses off, and the text I see on my computer screen is razor sharp. Problem is, I see 2 or 3 of it because I have astigmatism and also prism. I need prism correction. If not for that, I probably would have improved enough in vision at my age to not need glasses at all. That's a hell of a testament to Carnivore, I believe. Gary, he's back. Papa Carnivore, you must be biting your tongue. That would be. Oh, yeah, Gary. That would be autophagy, don't you think? Autophagy. We use that word. The literal meaning of autophagy is to eat yourself. Autophagy. And things like macrophages and eat things. Eat. It's part of the immune system. Stick that back in here again. See if we can come up a little enthusiasm. Louise Florette, hello everyone. And Mitch and Bacon Baby is here. Hiya, baby. How you doing? How are you? On my quest to find some questions. And here is Bob Casey Ariel, my buddy. How are you, Bob? Good to see you. Good morning, Professor Mitch, he says. I used to love it. Brings back a lot of memories, Bob, to hear somebody call me Professor Mitch again. All talking about having power failures. Grace Lily, greetings, Mitch and my fellow Mitchfits. Good to see you, Lily. How are you? And this is Tuka's little $2 super chat. Thanks, Tuka. How you doing? I'm still looking for some more from you to let us know how you are. Here we go. Sorry I missed you last week, boss. Yeah, we missed you, man. Miss you. You were, as they say, conspicuous by your absence. I am well, thank you. Sorry, I have had some burden. No, don't be sorry. We all have a life. All have things that we have to do. That is, except maybe me. I hear some rumbling. It sounds like they're launching. They're launching a space shuttle. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. SpaceX. It takes, here it is. It takes 4 seconds for the sound of the launch to get here. It takes 4 seconds. 4 minutes. So there you go. It launched. I can hear them here, but I hear them 4 minutes after they launch. And it's 5 minutes, 22 seconds now. I live that close to the to the Cape. Not 20 miles, 25 miles. If I went outside, I could see them go up. It's off in the distance, but it happens every day, once or twice. There have been days when they've had 3 launches. Incredible. The coolest part is I don't need to watch the launch. I hear the rumble. I'll go tune into YouTube, and I'll be right at the point where we're only a couple minutes from the booster landing, and I like to watch that. There it is, the booster on the left. Probably it's the first is the burn that slows it down, not the one where it lands, but the one that slows down its descent, because it hasn't quite hit the atmosphere yet. And at this point, it's slow enough so when it hits the atmosphere, those grid fins, now, it really gooped up the camera. Whatever happened, spewed some exhaust on or smoke or something, just fuzzied up the camera. Look at that. But there, you can see the grid fins there, and they're not showing. Yeah, you can't see it. I got it cut off by my name. Let's see if I can get rid of my name there for a second, and you can see it. Yes, you can see it there. You see it's 9 kilometers above the ground now, and it is just went slower than the speed of sound. And it's going to land on a drone ship. How cool. How cool. So we'll take a few minutes, 3 or 4 minutes out of this little live stream, and we'll watch the booster. This thing, I hope it doesn't crash because we're watching it, because it doesn't fail these landings very often. But seeing it come up on the drone ship. Now, it is down to 200-something miles an hour. The drone ship usually will come into view. There's the landing burn. Look at that. That's never ceases to amaze me. Never ceases to amaze me. Wow, wow, wow. How about that, folks? Well, let me ask you a question. What other carnivore channel brought you today a SpaceX launch and a landing of the booster on the drone ship? We know the answer to that. And let me turn my display name back on. Not that you need it, but there may be people who have tuned in here for the first time, and they say to themselves, "Who the hell is this old fart?" and now they know. And Tuka asked me a question, certainly a question. How are you, boss? How do I become wise like you? I think you already are, Tuka. You're a smart guy. But I appreciate the compliment. Okay. Terry Sue checked in. I guess, Terry Sue, good morning, kid. So far, I haven't come across a question. Sue Middleton checked in. Good morning from Southern Oregon. Good morning, Sue. How are you? And the big three are chatting away. Papa Carnivore, Charger Mopar, and Target Prime Rib. Always on top of the activity list. Melly M, good morning to you. Good morning to you. Darcy says duck food blues was great. You have. Here you go. Here you go, Peter. Mitch, did you watch Dr. Sivas? 2 recent videos about carnivore being potentially dangerous and not sustainable long term. Bart K did a hilarious reaction video about it. No, I didn't. I don't really watch Sivas much. YouTube stopped recommending them to me because I slowed down. That's the thing. If you don't continue to watch a particular influencer that you like once in a while, it will not come up in your recommended feed. You have to go and search for it. When I had my stroke, the stroke aspect of it attracted maybe 4 times the number of viewers to my videos and live stream when I first started doing it. And I would come on here, have a morning coffee live stream, and have 400 plus viewers. Where are they now? I have 100. Where are they? I had 100 before I had the stroke on average, and now I'm back to that. That's the hardcore. That's the Mitch fits. So what happened was over the period of 2 months since I've started doing the live streams again, I've noticed it as people get a little bored with it, they don't watch it as much, and as they don't watch it as much, YouTube stops putting it in their recommended feed. Now, you can go look at your subscription feed where you'll see every video show up from any of the people you subscribe to, but that's not the default feed that YouTube gives you. They give you their recommended feed first, and as my morning coffees and my videos stopped showing up, out of sight, out of mind. That's how it works. That's how it works. How do you fix that? Unfortunately, the only way to fix that is something that is unpleasant, especially for me, and I don't like it. And that is, you got to have a big video. You got to have a video that goes viral. In order for that to happen, you have to get a lot of views in the first, let's say, half an hour after it's released. And then YouTube sees that this video of yours has much more activity than normal, and it starts to push it out to people that don't normally watch you. Your subscriber count starts to go up, and the more people that climb on and watch your video, the more viral it goes. And that's how these videos that I have that got hundreds of thousands of views got started. If that doesn't happen in the first half hour or hour, the video is basically just going to be seen by your hardcore viewers. 1,000, 2,000, maybe 3,000 views over a couple of days, which is nothing. earns you no money, it's pretty much nothing. And the one thing you have to do in order to reignite that again is clickbait the hell out of something that you can manufacture, something so sensational, so outrageous, that nobody can resist the urge to click on it. That's what so many YouTubers do, and that's why we're always so disappointed when we see these titles and thumbnails of videos that promise something that's just going to so tickle our fancy, and then it turns out to be nothing. Just like the teasers on the evening news, story at 11. But that's what you have to do, or you die. You die as an influencer on YouTube, unless you've got something that captivating, and the competition is fierce. I fight very hard never to cross the line into the clickbait territory. But you all know, and we've all been sucked in by certain YouTubers with thumbnails and headlines that say, "I'm quitting carnivore for good this time," not clickbait. Well, every one of us would, if we knew who that was, we would click on it. If I put a video up that says, "I'm quitting carnivore, it's killing me," not clickbait, I guarantee you that would go viral in a minute. It would be people that care about me would wonder what the hell happened to Mitch. People that try to find reasons why I'm killing myself will latch onto that so they can use it and say, see, we told you, this guy's quitting, carnivore's doing it. Everybody on the planet would have a reason to click that video. How much respect would you have for me if I did that and it turned out that that wasn't true at all, that I'm not quitting carnivore? We've all known carnivore YouTube channels that have just played that out. We don't buy it anymore. We don't buy it anymore. So we just are done with them. I don't want to do that. So we're going to keep doing what we're doing. I'm going to try to make videos that are interesting. I thought that video I made yesterday was very interesting. I thought it was very informative. I thought maybe I'm onto something with those 3 different types of exercise that I've discovered really help and have helped in my stroke recovery. Information in that video might be valuable to people. 2,000 views, and it's over now. It's not going anywhere. Nobody will see it. Maybe if I had a cat doing cat tricks in the background, or a parrot singing a song in the background, it would go viral and I would get millions of views, like stupid videos often get. Anyway, that was, how did I go there? Did I watch the Cyrus video? Yeah. The Bart K. Yeah. I can just imagine that a caveman from 40, 50,000 years ago, whose only source of food was fatty meat and, in season, some not so sweet carbohydrate containing sour berries and fruits, maybe tubers and things like root vegetables. Somebody came in and said, "Oh, hey, Grok, you need to stop eating carnivore. It's not good for you." And Grok looks at him and says, "Well, what the hell else am I supposed to eat?" We survived that time. I don't believe it either. I have a lot of respect for Robert Cybus, but I'm on to him too. So I don't follow him much anymore. He kind of pissed me off because when he first came on, I actually wanted to talk with him, and I would have driven down to Jupiter, Florida to see him. I never got a return call. I've tried 3 different times, yet in every one of his videos, he's pushing his phone number. He wants to get appointments. I've seen other people get appointments, but for some reason, they never got back to me. I don't even think they know who I am, so there was no reason why they wouldn't want to. It's like anybody else. If I call a plumber and leave a message and he doesn't reply to me, you think I'd ever hire a guy like that? Guy can't even return a phone call? You think I'd give him a 50% deposit? People do. Never see him again. Never see him again. Pearl Grandma, good morning to you. How you doing? What time am I up to? 8:53. I've settled in at a half an hour behind in the chat. I want to go and glance over. Wow, it's almost an hour so far. See, yeah. Kathy, Florida. Mitch for more views. Right there. Or more views. Put a cat on your inversion device. Yes. Yes. That would be so cool. I would be vilified by every animal rights group on the planet. Vilified for torturing a cat. I would go viral. I'd make a lot of money. I know how to make a lot of money on YouTube. I know every trick. I know everything I need to do to make a lot of money. But to do that would go against every principle of trying to be honest that I can't stand, and I don't do it. I'd rather not make so much money that people think I'm a fraud and a con man. Enough people think that already, and I'm not. I don't think so. Questions. During these videos, Cybus starts to see his keto IQ, exogenous ketone supplement, and promotes his medical practice, blood taking, CAC, and CTA. Of course he does. Of course he does. That's the reason, Peter, we all know that he is on YouTube. And there's nothing wrong with that. All of the big YouTube influencers are making big money somehow. Doesn't mean they're bad people, doesn't mean they're con men. Sometimes it just means they are smart and right and have a lot to offer and they attract people. But they've monetized it. A man who I respect greatly makes a fortune on YouTube. That's Ken Burry. His private community has gotten so expensive because he's capitalizing on every way to make money from every angle on YouTube. And it was very smart of him to have his private community. Nothing wrong with that. The man has done so much for so many people. Then there's Eric Berg. Eric Berg has done a lot of good, and a lot of people admire him and say how much his advice has helped people. But he is a little less transparent about his money-making things, which is mostly selling supplements. Big business. He makes a fortune. Other people that we really admire may not be making big bucks today, but they're using their YouTube channel to set them up for big bucks later by forming companies that provide online medical care, telehealth services that understand carnivore, give the right kind of advice, but there's going to be a fortune if that catches on. We know who they are. So that's just the reality of the world. It's just the reality. But they're doing it. So Cybus is no different. And if one... I'll stop there. I'll leave it at that. Don't want to step on any more people's toes and have more people hate me. But, oh, Peter. Peter's birthday is Father's Day. Wow, happy birthday, Peter. 63. Wow, wow, wow. Creeping up on that Medicare age, are we? So, Peter, you've been basically an old fart for 13 years now. What do I mean by that? When you turn 50, which is a child, which is still a young person. My kids are older than 50. That fateful day comes right around your 50th birthday. That rude awakening that shocks you into reality of getting older comes in your mail and says all over the envelope, join AARP. I hope you're all laughing because most of us have had that experience and remember it. 50 years old, it seems like the business community considers you over the hill and you need to join or buy or do something to make your old age easier. And the AARP, as far as I'm concerned, is one of the most crooked, politically motivated users of old people on the planet Earth, disguised as something that's supposed to do them some good. They are trying nothing. They want to sell you insurance, sell you this, sell you that, sell you the other thing, offer you discounts that you can find anywhere else because you're so special. You're an old person, a senior citizen, and they keep, just like the medical community keeps lowering the cholesterol numbers. Anything over X is bad. AARP keeps lowering the age. And if things keep going like they're going, it'll be 30 years old before too long. And 30 years old, you start to be considered an old fart, so you too can benefit from all of these great deals that we offer from you. And anybody that thinks that any association like that, be it the AAA, Automobile Association, AARP, American Association of Retired People. I got a bridge again, and my bridge is still for sale. It's in Brooklyn. It's going to go any day now. Check it out. Check it out. Bot says, yeah, Papa, the Cybus part was hilarious. I got to watch that. I like when Bart K rips them, but like everything else, you watch so much of these things, you want to have something new and a little variety. Oh man, I got up to the point in the chat where I was talking about where's the beef. What time is it? I almost got to 9 o'clock. Wow, I'm getting further and further behind. Okay, folks, I have to reach the point where I have to stop actually reading all these things. I try to participate in the conversation. He says, Peter says to Rick, I'm sure I'm going to watch some of his Saturday morning live streams. I have watched a few of them. I don't participate in them, but I glance at them every once in a while. I cut back on the amount of YouTube that I watch. I try not to just live in YouTube because of the work that I do in YouTube. If I didn't spend so much time on live streams making videos. I might spend more time watching other people's videos, but I'd like to finally just take a break from it, if it's just for a few hours. Kathy says, Mitch, do you use the electrolyte mix in the water you use for coffee? Well, no. I can take tap water and fill up my coffee maker because it has a charcoal filter built into it, and that filters the water. But I've just got a Brita pitcher, one of these Brita pitchers, and I fill my electrolyte thing up from that. So I make sure every night in the refrigerator that my Brita pitcher has some cold water, and I make sure it has a good filter in it. I use that 40-ounce thermos gizmo that's on my website, and every morning I mix a teaspoon or heaping teaspoon of the electrolyte mix. I put it into the thermos. I fill it from the Brita pitcher, shake it up, and drink from it all day, and it stays cold all day. And my goal is to make sure by the end of the day that I have consumed the whole thing. I know I've got my electrolytes, and lest I forget, I have gotten 40 ounces at least of water. And between the coffee and that, I very rarely drink any more water than that during the day. Sometimes I'll get thirsty, so I may need a little extra hydration, so I'll go get a glass of water. Primarily, I drink coffee and the electrolyte mix. And speaking of electrolyte mix, I have 1 scoop left, I think. So sometime today, I have to play chemist again, get out the scale, get out the bowls, measure out another 100 dose batch, mix it up. Takes me 10 minutes. And I'll be good for another 3 months. It's and I'll save another. Oh wow! I'll save myself another $50 or $60. I like it. Good question. Let's see. Zuka. Okay, already got that one. But I never can see that one too often. And Bob Casey said to me, I don't know if she's still around. He says, good to see you in a cheerful mood, Professor M. Bob, I'm doing okay. I still have my struggles. I wish I was able to be as mobile as I want to be. I am. Today is a new first for me, tonight. Tonight is a new first for me. I might take a camera and actually record some of it. It's the first time. This is another monumental. See, when you have everything in your life just taken away from you, getting them back one by one gives you a lot of opportunity to call things monumental. This is my first road trip. This is my first time sitting in my car. This is my first time walking on a system. Well, tonight is my first time going to my son's house for dinner, which pretty much encompasses all of the other firsts, all rolled up into one. I'm going to drive there. I'm going to have dinner with my son. I haven't been to my son's house since February because I couldn't. I'm sure he probably could have come over here and gotten me, but that's a lot of work. I don't put them through that. I'm not very demanding of my children at all. They've got enough problems. without having some cranky parent always demanding their time and demanding them do this or that. I do not. I go out of my way not to impede my son having his own life. But he invited me to dinner. So tonight, I'm going to get in my car. I'm going to drive to my son's house. It's a 20-minute drive. It's going to be a challenge because his driveway has a slope uphill like this, and I got to get out of my car on that hill and make it up to his house. He's going to come out and make sure that I can do that. That's okay. I haven't decided whether I want to take just a cane or take one of those roller walkers into his house with me. We'll see how I feel, because I tend to get towards the end of the day, the energy is gone. And it's a little harder to balance and a little harder to walk. But I'm going to do it. We're going to eat dinner. More than likely, go out to his back patio, which is on the Indian River, the Intercoastal. Beautiful place. If it isn't raining, of course, it has a patio you can sit on. Probably puff out a cigar with him. Try to be home. Try to leave there no later than, say, 7:30, 8 o'clock. Get home. By that time, I'm ready for bed. I'll let you know how it worked out, because I'll be here tomorrow morning, 8:30, Wednesday morning again, and we'll see how it worked out. But I'm looking forward to it. It's been a long time. A long time. Rick says, even though I am not sexy like the carnivore doctors, I am healthy and active. You are pretty healthy, and I know you're active, Rick. That's for sure. Let's see. Duke is asking everybody whether he should eat less or more fat. There's an answer to that question. It lies in the bathroom, and you know all about that. Deborah Wisegal is here. How you doing? Good to see you. Good morning, Mitch and the Mitch Fits. Wow. My terrific life. Mitch, what stogies do you smoke? I love coffee with a good cigar. I forgot to put the cube, but okay, you may see this twice. Okay, well, primarily I smoke Perdomo, called Perdomo Fresca. It's a bundle cigar, inexpensive, but long leaf and hand rolled, Maduro wrapper. I get them from the mail order places like Mike's Cigars in Miami. And it's a good cigar and not real expensive. They end up costing about $4 a stick. Whereas these days, when you go into a cigar shop, you're $10, $15 just to get a decent cigar, which isn't any better than these things I buy online. And it is expensive to smoke cigars. But I always used to Carnivore Talk. How are you, man? Look at you. With headphones on, your tie on. Good morning from Northeast Ohio. Good to see you. Welcome. Welcome. Okay, you're all going off on all kinds of topics here. Just Susie's thoughts. Good morning, everyone. Just getting them home and tuning in. Welcome. Good to see you. I am up to 924. Catching up here. Cool. Marcy says, I saw your video. I, for one, do not click on those teasing thumbnails. Wait. It's a fine line. It's a fine line. You can make the best video in the world, but what good is it if nobody watches it? So It's a balancing act. And it's not up to anybody but the YouTube algorithms, in their infinite wisdom or unfairness, to decide which videos they can show to the most people, run the most ads, make the most money. It's all about money. It always was, and it always will be. Terry Sue. Mitch, the exercise vid is inspiring for anyone in their 70s. I would think so. I would think so. I mean, God, I'm 78, had a stroke, and I'm still turning myself upside down. And I got news for you. The first time I did that after the stroke was scarier than you could imagine. You notice, in case you didn't notice, watch it again. You'll notice I put my cell phone on the floor next where I could reach it from being upside down. I don't take my glasses off, and I take my my push button thing that I always wear, except for I decided to not wear it while I'm here live. It's on the desk next to me, so you don't see it hanging on my neck. But I take that and I hang it down at the base of the orthopod, and I can reach both the button and the cell phone when I'm upside down in case something happens. Because that would be a hell of a way to die, getting stuck upside down on something like that and unable to get out of it. I think ahead about all the what could happen, what could go wrong. But it was tough even before the stroke. As you get older, to be able to hang upside down, do that stuff, it's not impossible. Anybody that's in reasonably good shape should be able to do it. But people that have 100 pounds to lose, I'm sorry, you're just not going to be able to do that. And if it wasn't for that orthopod, I'd be a crippled up, wheelchair-bound person with a back and have to go in for serious back surgery, which probably wouldn't work out. But my back has been, my 2 discs are just compressed as hell back there, and I've had that for 30, 40, maybe even 50 years. It's crippling. And if not for that orthopod thing, which I got probably 40, 50 years ago, as a recommendation from a chiropractor friend of mine, I probably would not be as mobile as I am today. And starting using that again took all my back pain away. And when you're trying to regain balance and relearn to walk again, I can't tell you how much it means not to have the pain involved along with it. So between the carnivore diet and that device, I can live and have the mobility completely pain-free. And that lets me recover just that much faster. Hey, Dan, you'll ask a question. I'm doing carnivore. Am I doing carnivore right if I also drink the bacon grease? I don't drain the pan, just scramble the eggs and all the grease. I assume it's okay, but just not sure. It is more than okay. It is more than okay. Bacon and eggs, if you ate all the fat that came with them, for example, if you just ate them raw, you'd have the perfect balance of fat to protein. Same thing with hamburger and most hamburger. But we render out so much of the fat that when we finally eat it, we are eating not enough fat and too much protein. And that's why it's always good to cook your eggs in the fat, sop up the fat, pour the fat back on the meat. You want to get that. And everybody keeps saying that the biggest mistake carnivores make is not eating enough fat. I agree with that. Go out of your way. Now, if you end up with explosive diarrhea, you've probably gone too far. But that's the judge. That is the measure by which you can decide, am I eating enough fat or not? If you is in the bathroom. And we all have that, unless there's something really wrong. We've had gallbladder issues and other things. You can just take a look. If you're constipated and you can't, you're not getting enough fat. If you're diarrhea bound and getting too much fat, cut back a little bit. That's how you can tell. Dan says, I'm just considering it extra fuel. It is that. It is that. But we don't want to start filling up our tanks and getting fat either. So after a while, you kind of see the scale stabilize at an ideal weight, and your body and your digestive system is telling you that you're having just the right amount of fat. Bill Cook says bacon grease coffee. I don't know if, again, if you need to add fat, there are ways you can do it. Butter, tallow, bacon grease, Lister's lard. In your coffee, you can eat sticks of butter. You can do many, but I don't do any of that because I eat foods that have a lot of fat in them and try to make sure that whatever renders out, somehow I get it back into me. You can fry foods like fish and things that have less fat, fry them in bacon grease and maybe put some of the fat back in them. I wouldn't agonize over it, though. Most foods in nature come with the right amount, with the right combination that we eat. So just try to eat the right foods. You can't live on chicken breasts and be a carnivore. You will not get enough fat. Tuka says that I'm one of the rare carnivore channels he watches nowadays. Thank you. It's quite a compliment. Quite a compliment. Okay, we are 9:30. Wow. Still behind. Time. 51 in August. When can I retire? Yeah, you probably already got your first AARP pitch, haven't you? You're younger than my children, Tanya. My youngest just turned 52. And my oldest, wow, this is scary. My son will be 55 in November. I still look at them as kids. They're starting to think about retirement, and I look at them as kids. I try not to think about that. Just makes me accept the reality of getting older. All right, I gotta race through this. Here's a question. Kathy, I wanted to see video of Mitch getting some sun and walking. You and me both. I try to get out in the sun for a few minutes every day, not behind my house. The balance, the dexterity in my right arm and hand are going to take time to come back, unfortunately. No matter what I do, your body can only create these new things, just like an infant or a baby or a toddler learning. It takes time. the speed of body chemistry is such that even if you're healthy and maximize it, it's not going to be a miracle. I've done pretty well recovering, but nowhere near back to what I consider normal. Still got a way to go, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because at least I'm having a life in the meantime. I can get around, and I'm going to my son's house for dinner tonight. He's trying to pick out some questions. Kathy, was your homocysteine test and your blood work? Mine is off the charts, too high, and get higher in Carnivore. It's supposed to be a risk for a stroke. What kind of stroke? I don't buy into any of that stuff. I don't care about that stuff. I'm not a numbers person. I agree with Kiltz on that. Hell with the numbers. I know a lot of people don't like that. Too many people are living by the numbers. I'd rather not. I'd rather not. I don't want to do that. We're not supposed to do that. We're not supposed to interfere. The best we can do is decide that we're right about the nutritious foods, eat those, and let our bodies take care of themselves. When we start checking numbers, we automatically assume we have to do something about it. So we start interfering. We jump on every craze, every fad. There are tens of thousands of homocysteines and other compounds in the body whose level depends on the level of all the other ones. It's an intricate, intertwined system. And trying to focus on one thing, I think, you may help something and screw up 100 other things. That's why drugs are so bad. That's why people only get worse. And there are situations where drugs are good for a limited time to accomplish a certain thing. But this business about trying to regulate your body for life, I'll take it as far as some supplements of known nutrients that are missing from our foods. As after that, I'm going to trust my body and the chemistry that came up through the ages as being successful enough that I actually made it to this generation alive, which means, if you think about it, every one of your ancestors, all the way back to the first living cell, billions of years ago, survived long enough to reproduce. That's a hell of a track record we got. And the legacy of the physiology that we have from all those survivors over billions of years, all those tens of or hundreds of thousands of generations of living things that came before us, it's got to convince you. Stay out of it. The best you can do is learn the pitfalls and traps that society has led us to fairly recently and avoid them and try to get back as close as possible to ancestral and ancient way of eating, and the most try to figure out what isn't in the food. And that itself can get you off on a wrong track too, if you try to look at too many different things. None of us is going to live forever. I don't think any of us really want to. So I am a no numbers guy. No numbers. Once a year, unless I have a stroke or something, I have my blood tests done. I look for the obvious things. I don't give a shit about cholesterol. It can be wherever it wants to be. My body knows where it needs to be and tries desperately to get it there. Even if every doctor on the planet wants to interfere with what my body knows is best. who's to say how much damage I've done following their advice most of my life? I guarantee you it's enormous. I can't do anything about that. I could try to fix it, but I'll probably do more harm than good. Roxine Friend said, is there a link for the orthopod? They stopped making that orthopod years ago. The closest I could find to it was an almost identical contraption on Amazon, and I put a link to it on my website in the exercise equipment section of links to stuff I use. The last time I looked, it said currently unavailable, but it was still listed as a product. I went looking for something similar. Tough to find. There's plenty of inversion devices, inversion tables, any one of them that you could safely use, as long as it allows you to be somewhat upside down, will do the trick. But this one I particularly like. I think it's one of the more safe ones to get on and off of or in and out of. I left the link up there because in that link it shows you alternatives to it. And I think it'll probably become available again. So that's about the best I can do. Otherwise, I can't recommend a different one of those to you. But I can recommend the concept and the principle of inversion, an inversion table or inversion therapy. So many inversion tables, like the teeter, require you to clamp something around your ankles and roll upside down and hang by your ankles. Well, that may all well and good. I don't want to be hanging upside down by my ankles. I'd rather be leaning over something like I do with the orthopod. So I would tend to go towards a device that actually is more like what I've got than something where I hang upside down. Just be sure when you first start using it, you do have a few people, somebody with you, to make sure they can get you out of it if you get yourself into something you can't get out of. And just remember, anything you buy from Amazon, if you find out it's not for you, you can't use it, you can send it back. Probably no questions asked. They ask questions, but never do anything about it. Wow, after 10 o'clock, we're breaking new ground today, but that's okay. It's until 6 o'clock tonight. I got nowhere to go and all day to get there. Question, if you are fat on carnivore, should you eat as much fat as someone skinny on carnivore? Absolutely. Absolutely. The fat that you eat is not the fat that's your body is saving up. Most of that comes from the sugar you eat. The rules for carnivore, I think, should be the same. 80-20, 70-30, 60-40 ratio, fat to protein, no carbs. If you gain weight on carnivore, eat a little less, but eat the same foods in the same ratios. If you're too skinny, eat a little more. Generally, our body tells us everything we need to know by our appetite. So once you become a carnivore, eat when you're hungry, don't eat when you're not. That's as simple. Sylvie, question, are you still walking a little every day? I walk. I don't go out in the street and walk. I don't go for a walk around the neighborhood. But by the time I get done the day, I usually have about 1,000, 1,500, maybe 2,000 steps on my watch step counter. I try to walk as much as I can, short distances of 10, 20 feet with no walker. But at this point, I cannot risk a fall. I can't. I could derail everything if I fell the wrong way. if I broke a limb, an arm or a leg, I broke a hip, God forbid. If I bang my head again on something, which is very easy to do when you fall, I could be back more brain surgery. I cannot risk a fall. It makes me overly cautious and probably not taking enough risks. But I'm trying to pace it out so that I get through it without a disaster. I can't have somebody constantly walking with me with a belt strapped around my waist like they used to do in therapy. I live alone. I have to be responsible. And yet I have to stretch it as far as I can every day to try to walk a little further, realize when I need to hold on to something and when it's okay to let go, and not be ashamed of myself if I have to hold on to something, whatever it takes to keep me from falling. But I am doing things like walking out to get my mail with just a cane. And when I'm walking down the driveway, it's on a slight incline, I got to be much more careful. But when I can, I just don't, I'll take steps and hold the cane off the ground. If I feel like my balance in any little way might trip me up, stop, put the cane on the ground, make sure I'm okay. I don't want to fall. That's my biggest fear. My biggest fear. I've had, since I got back from the hospital, only one time that I can remember where I almost fell. And I didn't like it, but I did catch on to something. Ended up being okay. Got to be, I did fall on my ass when I coming from the car into the house on the hospital, from the hospital. My daughter was here. I came up the front steps, tried to get through the front door, and actually fell. But more like sat down on the ground. She had to pick me up. But I don't count that. I had no idea if I was going to be able to live alone in my house or not. But I had a week to find out, figure out how to do things, get the devices I need, the walkers, the things like that, to be able to live alone, which is a daunting consideration, because what's the alternative? A nursing home? God forbid. They'll kill you at a nursing home. Those places, you talk about abuse. And you pay $5,000-$10,000 a month to be abused like that. It's crazy. I just, we all joke around and say, just kill me now. Well, don't you think I haven't seriously thought about what would I do if I got to the point where I had to rely on these people for care, knowing it would be for the rest of my life? I'm not telling you what you would do, but my mind is not going into pretty places when that option comes out. I pretty well said, don't send me to a hospital again. Unless it's stitch something up, put me in a cast, send me home again. And even if I broke a leg, I doubt I could live alone. So I got to be very, very, very careful. Safest place for me, the safest place for me is right here. This is it. I'd be hard pressed to hurt myself here. But I'm doing pretty good. I've been back home for 2.5 months already. 2.5 months I've been home by myself after the first week. Getting by, getting around, improving every day, cooking my food, making videos. So I am happy about that. and still trying to be careful enough. And if it takes me a little longer, or there may be a little something that I don't regain, I'll live with it. That's fine. That's fine. I did it. I did it. I am at the bottom of the chat. Look at that. Look at that. Hey, all right. Wow. 10 after 10. More than made up for the 2 minutes it took me to go jiggle my toilet handle. Early on, most of you weren't here. And didn't I didn't know about that. I did get a coffee here. Let's see who it was from. I got a coffee from Tanya. Oh, thanks, Tanya. Enjoy dinner. Have a wonderful day, Mitch. Bought me a coffee. I appreciate that. You're very sweet. You're very sweet. So thank you for that. Let's see. Let me play some happy music. And I'll try something new here. I got a, this is cool. I never use it, but it's pretty cool. I got a function on my mixer. And Rick, you'll love the name of this. You will love it. It's called ducking. Honest to God. And it's called ducking not because it has anything to do with ducks. It has something to do with if something's coming at your head, somebody might yell, duck, and you duck down. And that's what it means. Ducking is an automatic function that lowers the volume of the music when it detects sound coming from the microphone. So you'll notice now, when I'm talking, the volume of the music goes down. When I stop talking, it goes back up again. I think that's probably a good thing. Sometimes I think it's a little annoying, but I don't like the fact that I have to shout over the music. So I'll probably use it more and more. At any rate, everybody's saying goodbye. Goodbye. Terry Sue says, I'll take my crown and go. Ha! Mike Sealy, have a good day. All Lat says goodbye. Aaron says bye. Lat. Rick says, have to do that manually with a slider. Yeah, Rick, it's called ducking. It's pretty cool. And there's the end of the music. And that'll do it for today. I will be back tomorrow with the tale of my outing to my son's house. First time in many months. So I'm looking forward to that. So with all that being said, my friends, thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. And till tomorrow morning, take the rest of the day off and eat meat.